We're having a little internet issue. Oh.
Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply. It's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. And you know what? This is an important show because the holidays are upon us. And we've already started with Thanksgiving, the debaucherous lifestyle that most of us don't live throughout the year. In fact, you know what I notice? I've been doing this 17 years. Every year, from right before Thanksgiving to New Year's, we see a precipitous drop-off in listenership. Because I believe strongly that people don't want to be reminded that what they're about to do or what they're currently doing is not good for them. And that's why you see this groundswell in January. They come back, and it's almost like from January through August, we have a huge audience. August, the kids go back to school. Mom and dad are focusing on that. And then once we get past August, we see a drop in from Thanksgiving on because people don't want to be reminded that they're crapping on themselves. Well, we're going to give you a show today so you don't have to be afraid to be aware, because there are things you can do to make the stuff you're going to eat in the next couple weeks and the remainder of this month not have the negative effect on your body that it normally would. And this is the best way to approach the holidays, every holiday, no matter what the holiday is. So the discussion we have today will work for, you're going to Cabo with your wife, whatever it is, you can take this same approach that we're going to discuss today and overlay it on any time of mad festivities. Before we get started, we have to thank our title sponsor. We have some imagery now. I've been telling you about the sweet roll. The sweet roll is an elevated, improved Cinnabon. The cinnamon one, as you can see there in the blue, chocolate, and then wild berry. You will really think you're eating crap. I'm telling you, it's amazing. You will believe that you're eating real pastry cake, but you're not. The signature of Legendary Foods is less than 1 gram of sugar, 20 grams of high-quality protein, 4 to 5 net carbs, and you'll enjoy them. Your kids will enjoy them. That's a rarity because kids don't like to eat healthy stuff, but you'll fool them with this. They'll want you to send them to school in their lunch boxes. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary. Use the coupon code SHR10. You're not only getting a 10% discount, but you're letting them know where you learned about them. I promise you, just like the tasty pastry, you will not be disappointed in the sweet roll. So check them out. Now, without further delay, my buddy on. Wade Lightheart, how you doing?
Doing great. Excited about the holiday seasons. It's my favorite time of year. So great to be here on the show with you, Carl.
Yeah, and it's everybody's favorite time of the year, but people in our silo, we feel guilt, right? We know what we're going to do to ourselves. We and most of us say, I'm not going to overeat. I'm not going to overdrink. I'm going to stay away from the turkey stuffing. I'm going to stay away from the desserts. But once the party starts with the family, that goes out the window. So why not prepare and say, okay, I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to try to do something impossible like not enjoy myself. But what can I do to mitigate the health crimes I'm about to commit?
The health crimes. Yeah, I like that. The health crimes. Well, this, I've been faced with this my entire adult life, and a couple caveats here, just for people to understand. And you're an evolutionary biologist, and you understand biological aspects, and we have to recognize that overfeeding is a biological adaptation for survival. And it's more predominant in some people than others. And I'm actually one of those people that I have a delay in satiety. In other words, my capacity to overeat is significantly higher than, say, or to some people. I love overeating. It's fun. Right. And, I think you're probably in this category. Is like, we are kind of victims of the more monster. Let's do more. Let's do more weights. Let's do more sets. Let's do more plates. And I'm not talking the ones on the barbell. I'm talking the ones at the dinner table.
Right.
So I used to come up with these stupid ideas that I was going to somehow maintain, caloric vigilance over the holidays. And I realized that's a fail. I go back to my home every year. This will be my 50th year in a row with my family, which is remarkable. And my mom breaks out the bread. I don't eat bread normally. She breaks out all the desserts. My dad's eating chips.
Well, doesn't she make a favorite pie of yours when you come home?
All of it. There's pie.
Yeah, I remember. Right.
Yeah. There's bread. There's all the stuffing. Right. It's just ludicrous. And then there's the treats, the chocolates and the chips, because it's celebratory and we're drinking the special sugary drinks, and it just goes on and on and on, and that's fine. That's fine. And part of the social aspect of it is my mom makes this stuff, and when I eat it, she feels good. So there's a biological pressure and there's a sociological pressure that comes with the connection in the holidays. So I go, okay, I'm not getting myself out of this. Let's be honest with ourselves. So a couple of things that I've been doing, and I could share with the listeners preemptively, is I've got to a low level of body fat before the holiday. So I like to keep my weight no higher than 185 pounds is where I like to. So that's a good rate. It's around, for me, it's a single digit body fat level, and that's good. So I'm going into the holidays, though, I'm tapering down. So I'm doing intermittent alternate day fasting. So I've been fasting alternate days, and I'm taking my body weight down into the 170s, right? Probably about 170, about 10 pounds lower, because I know I'm going to probably top out around, 190, 192. That's, I say my limit is 190. I always end up going a little bit over. Now, that's not all going to be body fat, but it's going to be bulk and food bulk and all that sort of stuff. So that's first thing. So I recognize that I try to lower my body, get my weight down as far as possible. Second thing is I load up on training during the holidays. A lot of people stop training, and I think that's a huge mistake. In fact, I go and I double up on training. I train more during the holidays. I'm not working. I take the holidays off. So I hit the gym hard. I do more volume, more sets. I go running after my workouts, right? I run anywhere between 3 and 5 miles after the workouts, and then I'll do saunas as well. So I'm just trying to find as many ways to up my metabolism as possible, to burn as much energy during the holidays as possible. So lift big, run big, sweat big. that's the other things. Right. And then the third thing is I try to offset those biological tendencies to overeat. So number one, high protein early in the day and high fiber early in the day. I know I'm going to my cousin's house on this day. We have a big party or whatever. It's in the afternoon. I'm eating my protein in the morning. I'm not eating carbohydrates. I'm keeping my fiber content. So I have a high satiety. When I go into the dinners things, I really pile up the plate with the veggies. I load up on the veggies first because I love the dress. We make this dressing where I'm from with the potatoes, and inside the potatoes, it's got all these herbs, and it's piled with like butter, and it's so good. And then the gravy goes on top of it. And I mean, it's awesome, right? And I know I could just eat platefuls of that. But if I really load up on my veggies in the first plate, I get full faster. That's the key. I need to, because I know I have that delay in the overfeed. Like my stomach doesn't get the message to my brain that I've eaten enough. I do that, and then the third thing, or the fourth thing, is blood sugar management. One of the things that people underestimate is we usually finish up with what? We finish up with the desserts, right? The high sugary things. And what happens is you get that rise in insulin, but then I say you kind of come over the waterfall at the end, and your blood sugar crashes out after. And we all know, I always call it that it's the Christmas dinner hangover. You eat 2 or 3 plates of food. You have grandma's apple pie. Everybody's like diving for the couch, the chair. Some people are on the floor. You pass out. You're drooling down your face. You wake up 30, 40 minutes later, and you're like, you're hungry. And you're sticking back in the head for another help. Like, what's happening there? And what the rise in blood sugar is so high that you get the correlation. You release all this insulin and you crash again. So a couple of strategies that I use, blood sugar breakthrough before my meals to kind of help mitigate and manage the glucose disposal that's going to happen from the meals. High fiber, high protein in the mornings and afternoons, because a lot of these things happen in the evenings. And then making sure I have what we call the ultimate digestive stack with every meal, so that I'm really not building up an overload of food that's taxing my immune system, because then we get sick, and then all that sort of stuff happens. So those are the elements that I do, and then I train like a beast. And oftentimes I'll put on a couple pounds of muscle over the holidays just from the training and calorie excess.
So how soon before a carbohydrate-based meal do you use blood sugar breakthrough?
Yeah, great question. Ultimately, it works best 30 minutes before, so it gets into your system. So some of the disposal agents is best. Worst case scenario, take it right before the meal. But if you know beforehand, 30 minutes is best. I also like to take, by the way, you can take it before a workout session as well. Before you go to the gym, take it before the workout session. You'll find that you'll get better pumps off it.
Really? I want to ask you why that is. So if I eat 4 times in a day, and can I take blood sugar breakthrough before every meal, or is there a long tail on it?
If you're in what I call the holiday season, whenever you have the carbohydrates present in the meals, that's great. So what I do is I reduce to almost nothing my carbohydrate intake in my first meals of the day. I really want that first meal with a high protein meal specifically, and low on carbohydrates. You can lean a little bit more into fats, so you wouldn't need blood sugar breakthrough at that. But if you know you're going into those super carb things that's going to send the insulin off to the races, then that's when you use it. And I typically cut down on the amount of meals that I'm eating. So normally I'm a 4 meal a day person. Generally what I do on the holidays is I get up in the morning, I fast in the morning, I go to the gym and work out. I have a high protein meal right off of that. So now I'm getting into 2, 3 in the afternoon. I try to have another high protein meal, because typically where I'm from, we have those big dinners, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening, and the festivities are in the evening. So I know I'm going to load up in the day. And if I have that high protein early in the day. It also helps to stabilize me when I crash out, if I crash out from the night before. So if you find yourself in the morning when you wake up and you're in that, oh my God, I'm so hungry and I got the brain fog because my blood sugar's in the toilet, start the day off with a high protein meal. For me, it's better to fast a little bit, but I know some people do better if they have that high protein meal in the morning to set their apostat right off the bat. So you kind of have to play with it with however your own biology is. What have you noticed for yourself, bro?
Well, I do try to refrain a lot, right? I first of all, I don't gravitate towards carbohydrates, but I gravitate towards sweets, which is even worse when you really think of it. I'll pass on stuffing, I'll pass on mashed potatoes, but when the chocolate covered almonds come by, I'll grab handfuls of them, and I feel guilty the whole time I'm doing it. I do. So I probably will use blood sugar breakthrough before those types of binge moves. But I'll eat the ham, I'll eat the roast beef, I'll eat the prosciutto that's on the charcuterie board. I do gravitate towards the protein. But and as we age, this becomes more true. There's only so much capacity of the body to process food. So when I'm eating, I want to take enzymes because I kind of feel like the stomach gets tired. It's like, oh man, you're giving us more food. So would you espouse both HCl and Masszymes during the meals? And how would you do that to make sure that we're really getting as much protein out of that potato and as much protein out of the meats that we're eating?
So we got this new release out that just came out. You see this? It's called the Ultimate Digestive Sack. This is a single serving packet that's just become available during the 12 days of Christmas that we launched this with. But inside it's 3 Masszymes, 2 P3OMs, and 1 HCl. This little stack, you can buy the bottles. It's going to be at a lesser price point. But what I like about this is it's easy to carry with you. You don't have to have a bunch of bottles with you. Convenience is a big factor.
You know how many times Elisa has washed my pants and in the watch pocket is Masszymes or HCl, and she gets angry because it breaks open and it makes the water cloudy, and I forget it because I do that. I stick them in my watch pocket and I go out to dinner and I'm like, I don't always use them all, and then they end up in the washer. That's brilliant. Yeah. That's a much product. That's great.
Yeah. So we got that out there.
And actually, if you go to go ahead. No, go say what you're going to say, and then I'm going to.
I think we got a little delay there. So, but anyways, that's the stack, and you can get it on the site. You can order the big bottles and use little plastic baggies if you like. Those are really nice, the small Ziploc bags, so you don't end up in the washer. If you do, they can protect it from the water. Or you can get a box of those for the single servings for convenience to carry.
So all of the things we're talking about today, every single one of them, even the new release products, can be found by going to shrnetwork.biz/bioptimizers. So you don't have to worry about writing down the product name. You'll be refreshed once you get to the page. shrnetwork.biz/bioptimizers. Use the code SHR10 to get 10% additional off. They're already priced very, very great. But that's the only URL you need to see every product we're going to talk about and then some. There's some products we're not talking about that you'll find on that page, true, like Newtopia products and stuff like that. So, okay, so tell me how to use Masszymes, P3OM, and HCl breakthrough properly on this kind of a festive occasion where we're going to overeat.
Yep, before your meal, take anywheres. The standard stack is 3 enzymes, 2 P3Ms, 1 HCl. You take it before the meal and you're good to go. If it's super big, you can double up the dosage if you like. But that will fix your digestive issues. You just break down your food. You won't have that same bloated feeling that you get that, oh no. And the other piece I think is really, I want to tie into this, which is really important, is the sense of guilt. And when you have a sense of guilt about things, I think your propensity to store body fat is higher than not. I think there's some biological reasons for that. I think the other thing is be strict about the windows of your holiday season. So I set a 10-day window that I'm like, this 10-day window is my holiday season. I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm going to do the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that I keep my digestion going. I don't get sick over the holidays. A lot of people do. I don't feel guilty about things. A lot of people do. You want to be able to celebrate, but then you also, I think, want to have a really solid plan put in place for how you're going to deal with after the holidays. So after the holidays, I'll do a 3 to 10 day fast for the first of the year to just clean out the system. I'll take some of our herbal products to get the sludge out of the system. I'll reset my appestat so that I reduce my hunger. So I'm planning for that after the season. So a preemptive one, a post game, and then my game time strategy. So those three things are how I manage it. And last year, it's taken me 20 years to get there. Last year, I actually lost weight on the holidays. Couldn't believe it.
Real.
I lost
That's
a
amazing.
pound and a half. I lost a pound and a half over the holiday season, and I couldn't believe it. But it's because I kind of mastered that. And those things about reducing the amount of meals I had and having that little fasting window and the protein and fiber early in the day, it seemed to limit the damage done on my festive moments in the evenings. And also the training side of it, really going hard on the training.
I want to acknowledge something that you said that is very nuanced, and we could just gloss over it and not really speak to it. There are studies that show that if you're stressed while you eat, food is partitioned differently than if you're relaxed and calm. There were a couple studies where people just either prayed before a meal, meditated before a meal, kind of got into that zone and then ate the meal, didn't change anything else about their lifestyle and lost body fat. There's also research that shows that when cortisol is present and other stress hormones are present, the body interprets that as the body interprets stress as some sort of unknown danger in our environment, and any unknown danger in our environment may mean that we may not eat again. And so what ends up happening is the body prefers to build fat with that food as much as possible and not muscle, because muscle is highly metabolically costly. So what you just said is right from a scientific and an evolutionary standpoint. And if by taking these, let's say they don't work the way they're supposed to, but by taking these before each meal, you mitigate any feelings of guilt, and you go right into that alone will have a positive effect to the food that you're eating, right?
Absolutely. And then also part of the psychological aspect of having that strategy going into the holidays. Hey, I'm going to work out. I'm going to double up my workouts during the holidays. I'm going to eat big and maybe gain a couple pounds of muscle. I'm going to enjoy the social occasions with my mom and eat those things guilt-free. I'm going to take my digestive aids to ensure. So when I'm taking that, and then again, it's interesting because the inversion of the holidays is there's a lot of people who feel the opposite of what the season's about. They feel depressed. They feel they maybe haven't been able to give as much as they want to give or do the things they want for their family or whatever the financial situation has happened to be. And they're missing the point. And I think the point of the season is about gratitude, about connection. And it's not about, I mean, yes, great to have presents and it's great to have that. But, you know, we're only on the planet for a limited time. And the reality is, you know, this season without the COVID, you know, crisis on us, we're probably going to get to connect with people maybe we haven't connected with for a few years, and do some things that we haven't been able to socially and stuff. And so why not celebrate that? Why not go into the holidays with the spirit of gratitude? You know what? When you're going by the people that are getting extra money, that need money for the homeless or the food thing, stuff a few bucks in there, stuff a few bucks into the tin. Feel good about something, Be kind to people during the holidays. Embrace the festive season, because that's what we need as humans. The social connection is more important than the presents, the money, the gifts, all that sort of stuff. That's nice, but you really want to embrace the true traditions of peace and goodwill to all mankind. That was the Judeo-Christian values that this country was founded on. And if we embrace those, it does have a positive cascade effect on our hormonal, our endocrine system, our nervous system. And so it's possible to really embrace the festivities, and do not underestimate the power of your mind and its influence. And guilt is not something that you want in your system relative to the holiday season. It's not good. It will increase your fat gaining. It will also, it's just damaging psychologically for you and everyone around you. And no need of embracing that this holiday season.
I want to take our first commercial break, but when we come back, I want to talk about something that people don't think about when they think about the holidays and the food and all that sort of stuff, and that's sleep. Because if you compound overeating with not getting proper sleep, you're guaranteed to be insulin resistant in a day or two, and you're guaranteed to develop more body fat. So let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. We'll address sleep when we come back. And don't forget, shrnetwork.biz/bioptimizers, and use the code SHR10. Every product we're talking about today is on that page when you get there. Stay with us. We will be right back. Don't go away. There have been no real breakthroughs in resistance training for over 200 years. Whether it's pulleys or free weight, they all depend on gravity and the angles associated with gravity's effect directly on the weight. All of that has changed with the ARX machine. ARX stands for adaptive resistance. The ARX machine uses a 25 horsepower motor. You are literally fighting against a 25 horsepower motor, so every single rep is your 1 rep maximum at that moment in time. But ARX leverages another technique that has been known to produce rapid muscle gains and strength, and that is it leverages the eccentric or negative portion of the rep, which completely blows every other exercise and resistance training product out of the water. Go to shrnetwork.biz/ARX and discover the future of resistance training. Motto, spelled MADO, is the first energy drink of its kind, with a clinically effective dose of the strongest antioxidant in the world, milligram for milligram, astaxanthin, reasonable amounts of caffeine, and very low amounts of vitamin B6. Motto will not only energize your mornings, but protect your nervous system, the quality of your skin, and has been shown to preserve muscle mass. Go to shrnetwork.biz/motto, MADO. Use code SHR for 10% off. Plus, order 2 cases or more and get free shipping. There are lots of concerns about food supply today. That's why you need White Oak Pastures. White Oak Pastures will deliver food right to your doorstep. You don't even have to go out and be disappointed by shopping in grocery stores. The finest beef, pork, lamb, duck, and more can be found at White Oak Pastures. And now they even have seafood. And best of all, White Oak Pastures has a negative carbon footprint, which means that you don't have to feel guilty for eating your ribeye. Go to shrnetwork.biz/white oak and use the code SUPERHUMAN to save 15% off. I've said numerous times that Be Strong BFR bands are as effective, if not more effective, than anabolic steroids. And as someone who has used anabolic steroids for many years and used Be Strong BFR bands, I know what I'm talking about. You will see changes in musculature in days and weeks using Be Strong BFR bands. and without any of the risks to your health associated with anabolic steroid use. Go to shrnetwork.biz/be strong. That's BSTRONG, and use code SHR15 to save 15% off. I guarantee you will not be disappointed in the results of using the Be Strong bands. Check them out. P3OM from Bioptimizers is a patented prebiotic and probiotic supplement with Lactobacillus plantarum OM. It has now been upgraded to P3OM 2.0 with the addition of a superfood formulation that makes it 2 times stronger, as well as optimizes L. plantarum's strength. So it's more powerful than ever, which means that not only will it help you completely digest all animal proteins, it also reduces cortisol, causes deep relaxation and better sleep, and reduces stress. Go to shrnetwork.biz/P3-OM today and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off.
This is the Superhuman Channel, where brawn and brains finally meet.
You can get P3OM at the other URL that we just mentioned, which is shrnetwork.biz/bioptimizers, just to let everybody know. Did we leave out P3OM in this discussion?
I don't think so.
Did you mention
part of it? It's the ultimate digestive stack, 3 masszymes,
right.
2 P3OMs, 1 HCl. That's the combo that works, and you can double up if it's a super big, Thanksgiving, Christmas dinner meal. But that'll do the trick.
I've taken probiotics all my life. Well, at least this past decade. And I've never noticed any effect from them before. And by effect, I haven't noticed any changes in stool quality or bowel movement. Sorry, we have to talk about this when talking about the gut. The best way that you can tell that your diet is appropriate for you is that your stool is firm and well-shaped. It doesn't look like soft serve ice cream. These people who, during the pandemic, I'm going to get a little graphic here. They were going through 10 rolls of toilet paper a day. If you have to wipe more than once or twice, your diet's not right for you. And I say that as somebody who pays attention to that. So I took, me, I'm an overdoer. Everything I do to excess, and my audience knows that. So one week I did an experiment. I started doing 10 P3OMs with each meal. My logic was more is better because I'm the average American jerk. Do you know that I got constipated in 4 days? Like it doing something. That was I was like, oh my God, I've taken trillions of CFUs of probiotics, and I didn't notice any change in my bowel movement. So P3OM really, really works. And if you are someone who has constant loose stool, I would advise you to buy P3OM and experiment with a dose to get it to the point where you have a firm, well-shaped bowel movement, and it will change your life. And I'm saying that with all sincerity. So P3OM is amazing. It really is. It really does something. Like my attitude is, does it do something or doesn't it do something? Am I using a supplement that I have no perceived value for? P3OM is real.
Yeah, we're one of the few supplement companies that we now have a total of 19 researchers working for us in Croatia at our lab. Our head of our lab development, she's a 2nd generation PhD in microbiome technology. And we literally have run hundreds and hundreds of experiments with virtually every probiotic strain available on the market. And our goal is to continually develop and enhance probiotic strains that are out there that can be beneficial. And P3OM is one of those strains. It turns out there's 6 basic overall tests that they standardize the efficacy of a probiotic in various situations. And we'll get into all the details of that. But what I can say is, out of every probiotic strain that we've tested, nothing has come close to the efficacy of P3OM on all those standardized university-grade testing. We're going to be releasing this results in the new year because it's profound. And unfortunately, many of the probiotics, even by what I would say is popular brands really failed significantly on those tests. And so understanding the microbiome is probably where the future is going to be in long-term healthcare, because we're not really feeding ourselves. We feed the probiotics, and the probiotics feed us. It's a symbiotic relationship. In the environment that we've cultivated in modern civilization, high stress, high caffeine, high sugar, all sorts of weird chemical agents, preservatives, dyes, etc., have disrupted our microbiome to such an extraordinary degree that many people are permanently compromised unless they address their digestive health. And you're not going to get this information from your medical doctor. And many of your holistic doctors don't understand the world of microbiome. That's why we have built this relationship with Birch International University. We've bought the machines that allows them to do the research and the testing, and we're delivering the results to our consumers so that they can trust the products that we produce do what it says. And in fact, with P3OM, it's so effective, we're not allowed under the current regulatory bodies to actually demonstrate what that product does. But you can look up the patent on Bioptimizer's site, and you can read it for yourself how it got issued, the patent in the first place. And we've improved on that formula over since that time. So it's very exciting. We're probably issuing a new patent coming out sometime next year because we've been able to improve upon what's already been done, because we're always improving our products and our formulas.
Yeah, that's amazing. So now let's address sleep, because one of the bad problems of festivities, and especially alcohol consumption, is your sleep goes to poop. And if you're living this lifestyle for 10 days, sleeping well, the ramifications are going to be triple, quadruple worse than if you were getting good sleep. And you have a new product called Sleep Breakthrough, correct?
Yep.
Talk about it.
Well, first and foremost, let's address the big thing to illustrate exactly what you said. If you are tracking your sleep data with whatever means that you're using, there's a variety of different functions that you can do that. The two things that there's actually three things that disrupt your sleep more than anything else. Number one is eating before bed. Ideally, a 3-hour window before you go to bed is best for best results on both quality and quantity of sleep. The second, and when I talk about that, is the duration of deep sleep and REM sleep is really correlated to your quality of sleep. The next thing that is most disruptive is alcohol. Okay, so double whammy on the alcohol. So those two things are most disruptive. The third thing is the actual sleeping conditions that you're under. So high temperature that wakes you up, a mattress that isn't supportive of your body. So especially if you're a workout guy like us, you really got to put on it, because most mattresses aren't designed for people who are carrying a lot of muscle. And so getting a quality mattress. So if you're having trouble with your sleep, number one, 3 hours before you go to bed, lower the alcohol content. And 3, you might think about this year, you know what, going all in on a really good sleep mattress for yourself. You spend 6, 7, 8 hours a night sleeping. Invest in that, because it's going to improve the quality of your life on every aspect. Now, is there things that you can take? One of the things that seems to improve sleep is the release of GABA. So P3OM, I take 4 P3OMs before I go to bed every night. And I never knew, I knew that it kind of went through the system and worked on that. But when I always felt when I tracked my data, some nights I would forget to do it. And then most nights I do it. And I saw variances in my sleep, and I didn't know why. Well, it turns out after our lab team came back that P3OM taken before bed improves the release of GABA, which enhances, GABA is a nootropic that's released in your neurotransmitter in your brain, which creates that relaxed effect. Concordantly, what's interesting, that's kind of that relaxed social feeling that people oftentimes will drink alcohol in social events because they get this thing. But GABA is another way that you can do this without consuming alcohol. So that's interesting on its own. But then we developed a sleep product specifically. And this product, so Matt, my business partner, has struggled with sleep his whole life. And he's invested about $50,000 in his sleep system. And the guy sleeps in a Faraday cage. He has a specialized mattress. He's got devices on. Like he is, he's about as crazy as sleep as anyone else because it impacts him so much. And we got to work on the lab of creating the ultimate sleep stimulant, if you will, or product that you could take before bed. And we've crafted it. This thing is off the charts. We released it at Dave Asprey's event, the Bulletproof Conference. And in that event, this is the biohacking crazies, okay? Like everybody's tracking their sleep. Everybody's, half the people got glucose monitors on their arms. They're wearing the watches, the polar thing, like you name it, they're doing it. They're pricking their fingers. They're doing everything. What came back to the booth during the event is like people are like, my deep sleep doubled. My REM doubled. Like, how is this possible? And we set up the precursors that allows you to get an extra deep sleep because it's not just the duration, it's how much deep sleep we get. We have a 2-part formula on the sleep breakthrough system. And that is, one is a little powder that mixes up. It tastes great. It looks cool. It's just kind of really awesome, like Smurfy blue color that comes out because of some of the ingredients. You drink that before bed. You're going to have probably the best night's sleep you've ever had in your life. The second piece to that is a spray. Now, the spray is used in 2 different functions. If you're traveling, 3 or 4 sprays under the tongue before you go to bed. And then if you wake up, 1 or 2 sprays, if you wake up in the middle of the night, will put you back into that deep sleep relatively quickly. And recent data, since we released the product, and I will say this, some people prefer just to do the powder and some people prefer just to do the spray. So experiment with it when you get that combination because there are variants biologically with sleep patterns based on your neurochemistry that we've accounted for in the sleep system, but it's best to experiment. So try 3 sprays before bed, try the powder before bed, try both of them before bed and see which combination works best for you. That's why we separated the 2. They're working by different mechanisms and get the best night's sleep you can.
I learned from Matt that while the sleep breakthrough comes with a little scooper and it recommends up to 4 scoops, I find 1 scoop. So I'm one of those weird people. 20 years ago, I started using GABA because of the GH boost. Remember those days when it's like, GABA raises 5 grams, raises your GH production by 500%. I'm like, I'm in on that. And but GH is one of those compounds that for me, less is better. So when I was using 5 grams, I would get the numb fingers, I'd get the shortness of breath, I'd fall asleep, but then I'd wake up wired. And I found out that 2 to 3 grams put me to sleep and kept me asleep. So I spoke to Matt about it. He goes, some people will just need 1 scoop of the sleep breakthrough and they'll have this night's sleep. So I'm one of those guys. But let me tell you what I love about the spray. And we all go through this, Maybe we're getting like I'm flirting with overtraining now because I've added so much muscle, it's shocking to me. And I'm on my lowest dose of testosterone. I'm not using any orals, but I'm just really moving heavy weight again. And so I start flirting with overtraining. I have that occasional night where I wake up in the morning at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I wake up and I'm groggy, but I know I'm not going to go back to sleep. I roll over, I grab the spray, 2 puffs under my tongue. I lay there patiently and I doze off. And the beautiful thing about this is you don't wake up groggy because there's just micrograms of melatonin in it.
Mhm.
And Matt pointed out that the pineal gland only releases like 18 micrograms of melatonin to put adults to sleep. And many of us are taking 500 milligrams, 3 milligrams, 10 milligrams. You don't need that much. So I would use it. I'd go back to sleep, and I would wake up at like 4.5 hours later, wide awake, and I'd feel great. That 4-hour window is an amazing thing. If you don't take it with, for me, if I don't take it with the sleep breakthrough, I'm going to wake up in 4 hours. If I take it with the sleep breakthrough, it puts me to sleep. I stay asleep. If by chance I wake up, I take another dose of it. I go back to sleep. I don't wake up groggy anymore. It's really an amazing combination. It really
Yeah,
is.
one of the
You really to get your best night's sleep. You really can.
Yeah, one of the reasons we separated the two formulas is because they work by different mechanisms, and nobody really addresses that. We've got a new product going to come out in the new year as well to optimize your dreams. So people who like to lucid dream and stuff, we've also worked on that. So
yeah,
one of the things that people, I think, haven't addressed, and we've been going after this as a company, is individual specificity and your ability to self-modulate. So when it comes to your scoops, how many scoops you do, experiment with it. Sprays or non-sprays,
Right.
experiment with it. And one of the reasons I think the efficacy of the spray as a delivery system is, again, under the tongue. And I know you're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to say in the mouth, but under the tongue, we do know that if you hold things there, they tend to be absorbed into the body much faster. They're bypassing a
And
lot
closer
of
to the brain. Closer to the brain. Closer
yeah,
to the
and
brain.
boom, you feel it. I mean, this is one of those products that you feel. You take it, you notice it. You're like, okay, I feel something here. I notice the difference. And of course, if you're tracking, you're going to see it show up on all your numbers.
Right. I want to take our last commercial break. I want to contribute something to the discussion now for what I think people should do during the holidays. And this is because of Dr. Malin Watby's book of Doves, Diplomats, and Diabetes. And I want to contribute a little something that I think between using these supplemental strategies to curtail eating too much or eating the wrong foods too much, managing your blood sugar, digesting what you eat and extrapolating every morsel of protein out of it, and sleeping well. I have a little trick that I do when I'm going to overeat. So stay tuned, stay with us. We'll be right back with more Superhuman Radio.
Dogs should be powered by fat and protein, not carbs. That's why Visionary Pet makes low-carb, ketogenic dog food for dogs of all breeds and life stages. From kibble to freeze-dried and even low-carb treats, all Visionary Pet recipes are very low-carb, ketogenic, and made with 100% real meat protein. Shop now and use code SHR for 20% off your first order today. Your dog deserves the lifelong benefits of optimal nutrition. Make the switch to Visionary and see why smart dogs eat low carb.
I would easily say that I am the hugest proponent you will ever meet to doing anything that will improve the quality of my sleep. And that's because sleep is linked to just about every metabolic disorder we see in our population today. One of the easiest things you can do to improve the quality of your sleep is to get a pillow that can be shaped into the exact form factor that allows you to get your best night's sleep. And that is My Pillow. I've been sleeping with My Pillow for a few years now, and I can tell you that when I have to travel and stay in hotels, I don't get a good night's sleep because I don't have My Pillow with me. Right now, you can save up to 60% off of everything offered to improve the quality of your sleep at shrnetwork.biz/mypillow when you use the code SHR. Or you can call toll-free 800-889-4938. And remember to use code SHR to save up to 60% off of everything at their website. Never before has a product been so appropriately named as Botanic Tonics Feel Free. This plant-based elixir combines a variety of different effective compounds, all from raw plant materials that at different doses provide you with completely different experiences. A third of a bottle puts you in the zone and makes you very focused and is ideal for a non-stimulant stimulating pre-workout. It also has a mild analgesic effect for us older lifters who have soreness and little pains and aches that keep us from training as ferociously as we want. A half a bottle will create a mild euphoric effect that will allow you to forego consuming alcohol, but still be socially lubricated and have fun. I have never had a product deliver on its name the way Botanic Tonics Feel Free does, and I won't ever be without it, and you shouldn't either. Go to shrnetwork.biz/feel free and use the code SHR40 for 40% off your first order. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Merrick Health is a premium telehealth platform that connects customers with partnered providers from the comfort of your home. Merrick provides concierge service with your very own patient care provider as your health advocate. You'll go over all your needs and goals, from improving sexual function, hair loss prevention, increased muscle, fat loss, and overall improved performance. Prescribed treatment options can be ordered and shipped directly to you if you meet the requirements, all from the comfort of your home. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Merrick Health. That's MAREKHEALTH, and order your comprehensives and get 10% off with code SHR. Don't forget to add the lab analysis to have results reviewed with potential over-the-counter supplements or treatment recommendations. That's shrnetwork.biz/Merrick Health and use code SHR at checkout, or order your own desired labs with code SHR and get 10% off your first lab order. Remember those rectangular toaster pastries you used to love when you were a kid? Well, Legendary Foods has just made them better. The new cake-style tasty pastry is like nothing you've ever had before. With 20 grams of high-quality protein and less than 1 gram of sugar, you'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off your purchase of tasty pastries. Now available in cookies and cream, red velvet cake, birthday cake, blueberry, strawberry, brown sugar cinnamon, and hot fudge sundae. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use code SHR10 today.
This is the Superhuman Channel, where we use oxygen for the power of good.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet. So, and I want to say something ahead of time. Any of you who use these strategies this holiday, I want to hear from you after the holidays at onair@superhumanradio.net and tell us if we were right or we were wrong. Did it help you? Did it not help you? What do you think we missed? So keep that in mind. So there was a period of my life where I was a travel salesperson, and I used to listen to lots of NPR. And they had a guy on NPR who wanted to re-enlist, and he was older than they usually allow you to enlist, but he had been retired for a while. He had been in the military for a long time. He's some sort of commander level, so he had to pass the physical. He had put on weight since he had been retired, and he told a story about a trick that he learned. He used to go for a walk 10 minutes before eating a meal, not after eating a meal, before, which is counterintuitive, right? And so he talked about all this body fat he dropped in a reasonable amount of time, not in days, but he also said he put on muscle. Now, forget that. Fast forward to an interview that I did in 2012 with Dr. Milind Watfi from India. He has written the seminal volume of Doves, Diplomats, and Diabetes, a Darwinian approach to modern disease. And he points out that through evolution, we worked hard before we ate. We chased animals, we climbed rocks, and then the reward was we got food and we ate. And the body adapted to that. Risk and fear were part of what drove the body to do what it did with the nutrition that you ate. If you work hard before you eat a meal, the nutrition is directed more to muscle and less to fat, because the body has to upregulate and supercompensate, because you may do this again and again and again and again. So here's my 2 CCs. Before you sit down to eat, when you're ready to take your glucose blood sugar breakthrough, and maybe even before you take your enzymes and HCl and peek through them. Find the quiet place away from the family, because they'll ridicule you for this, because they will, and do 3 sets of 10 body weight squats and 3 sets of 10 push-ups. That's it. And then go mangia, as we say in Italian. Go eat your food, because that will turn switches on that will make more of that muscle and less of it fat. That's all I'm going to say. It's simple. It's easy. You don't need a coach. You don't need a book. You don't need an app to do this. But if you do it, you will actually build muscle during your feeding frenzy. That's it. Simple stuff.
Love it.
So I wish you a Merry Christmas, and I hope being with your family rejuvenates you and refuels you, and you enjoy and don't feel guilty. Like you said, I'm going to do that too. Usually I feel I'm not going to feel guilty. I'll make the decision. I'm going to go into this and I'm going to eat what I want to eat. I'm not going to feel bad about it, but I'm going to apply all of these strategies to make the most of it. And I think everybody should try this.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
I want to thank you. Well, and I want to thank you for being a long-term sponsor show, because it's not easy to find products you can talk positively about and not lie. Look what just happened to the Liver King. So you helped me by allowing me to promote you. So thank you.
The two-way trail.
Everybody
Thank you.
out there, it's Friday. Don't forget, muscle is metabolic currency. So get into the gym this weekend and train. And remember, stronger is younger. So turn back the clock. Get in there and try. I'm doing it. I'm reversing some problems I've had for the past 3 years. I'm more muscular than I've been in a long time. I'm leaner than I've been in a long time. And I am going to keep this up. I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not going to turn this back. I'm going to keep moving forward. I love you, Wade. Talk to you later, brother.
Love you too, Carl. Happy holidays.
We'll see everybody. Happy holidays. We'll see everybody next week. Sorry for the internet problem. I'm still waiting for Spectrum to my problem with my newly installed